Residing in reality can be exhausting day in and day out. For most people today, reality can be a bit
Wholesale price for a dozen white eggs climbed to over $8 in February.
New numbers from the deadly measles outbreak.
What the fuck?
a bit much. So finding ways of escaping reality for just a little bit is more than healthy, and I'm sure everyone can relate to checking out mentally here and there. Getting lost in a really good book, or just daydreaming in a dull situation like traffic. It's honestly a healthy way for people just to take a step back and enjoy their own little world for a little bit. For most people though, no matter how locked in they are to an elevated chore session or gaming, reality is always in the peripherals. If we did this all day every day, we'd be neglecting a lot of things that really should be a priority. Blatantly ignoring responsibilities and bypassing needs for wants without repercussion sets someone up for an incredibly harsh reality check when reality does inevitably come bursting through the door. Denial and self-deception were Amberlynn's bedbound bedfellows in 2019. It's the year where we see that she has the most issues with mobility, and she is the most physically limited in this time period. It's where the audience gets the sad fact that Amberlynn does not willingly join the rest of us in reality. At this time, she has an incredibly high income.
We spent $402.41. Here's the receipt.
Enablers, and a pathological avoidance to reasonable advice despite the means afforded to them for change. The dopamine rush for spending money on whatever they want is always a guarantee, but investing in the uncomfortable adjustments for mental and physical wellness, that is much slower and much less reliable. I'll be going over how interesting 2019 is because she reaches her highest weight without a startling increase. It's disturbing, but overall stable from January to December. Just a reminder, no one is perfect. I do make great efforts to find and point out every weight recording that Amberlynn has shared with her audience. Her posting dates are always behind, so if I hear the date, I track it down. If I'm not sure what the date is, I refer to the date the video was posted. That is much easier to organize than guessing if she's 2 days behind or 2 weeks behind.
But today is July 14th. I know, told you, I'm very behind. Day 28.
I'm also confident if I do miss one or two, it really doesn't skew my data points too much. Like radiation, I can only deal with so much Amberlynn at a given time until it becomes detrimental to my health. Rules are the same as always. If she's showing her weight, I mark it down. I'm not a quarter ton, her being deceptive does nothing to me. No decimal points. 566.1 and 566.9 are tracked as 566, because we are really splitting hairs here with the decimal points once you're past 500 pounds. If there's a gap in time between weights, I just draw a line directly from A to B. Whatever trajectory or fluctuation goes on is between her and God.
I have come to the terms as of recently with seeing a psychiatrist and, going to the doctor and seeing a weight loss doctor. My health is more important than money. And that's just how it is for me.
Then we saw about once a week, maybe twice a week sometimes, there's that Dave & Buster's, there's the Golden Corral. I mean, we start with one of my favorite places, Panda Express, but then we have Apple Bills.
What I do with my money is then up to me.
Here comes the Bezos, Amazon, Noodle Alley, Bezos, Apple, Chipotle, and Bezos.
I wanted something sweet, so I got the Ben & Jerry.
I don't think we need to be getting sweet treats. No. I don't think it's good for our health in general.
I don't know. I shouldn't have to apologize for it. I shouldn't have to explain myself.
Sweet treats. That's not contributing to our financial health. Yeah. That's not contributing to our physical health. These are what you're talking about is the most bad for you crap. It's nothing beneficial in any way. So I don't know. Maybe you need to go to jail. You spent $1,600 just going out to eat.
Yeah, I spend a lot of money on food. But I mean, doesn't everyone?
There's nothing that can be done here, and it's like the alcoholic that's never changed. And sometimes you just have to separate yourself from them.
January 2019. At 560 pounds. I want to be able to come back on here and see changes. I just want to wake up and be the person that I destined to be. And I just feel like it's never gonna happen. People will hate on me for everything. I've let my health go so bad, and it's just now that I am kind of awake to it. It's like I've been asleep. There's like this thing going around saying that I have reached 600 pounds. It has never happened. My highest weight has and always will be 560 pounds. I will never surpass that.
572.4 pounds.
So this is Americans Try Japanese candy slash snacks.
567.4 pounds.
I have come to the terms as of recently with like seeing a psychiatrist and, you know, going to the doctor and seeing a weight loss doctor. Like, my health is more important than money. And that's just how it is for me. The weight loss doctor, he was stern. He was honest. We made little goals, especially what he thinks is doable. As you guys know, that I saw a weight loss doctor quite a few months ago and it didn't go very well. The diet plan he put me on was like 700 to 800 calories and it was just so much sodium. Oh my gosh. I can't keep getting worse, can't keep gaining weight. I never want to reach 600 pounds. So I am actually doing 100 days of weighing in. This isn't part of the cycle. I am really crossing my fingers and trying and doing as hard as I can. Like the 100 days of weighing in, that's like long gone. And what I keep telling myself is I can't change something that I can't change. Do you get what I'm saying? You say I'm in denial, I say you're in denial. I'm scared for what this next decade is gonna bring me, because obviously every decade, every year is gonna give people, you know, highs and lows. And I get very scared for the lows.
Out the gate, Q1 is her highest weight recorded so far in January, which kicks her into gear, again, and she loses some weight in the month, again. Following the pattern, if she tracks, she loses. For now, at least. This was the most she's checked in during January, with 8 times. Usually it's only 2 to 5. But like usual, she stops tracking when she gets tired of tracking, which is why February we usually don't have too many. Until March rolls around, where she feels like checking again. Being in the 570s was the new scary number for her. I don't know why the last 200 weren't, but here we are. Q1 to Q2 transition time period is usually pretty empty. In the beginning of Q2, she hits her highest weight at 572.4 pounds. And this was a little too close to 600 pounds for her. All of Q2 and most of Q3 is very unique, borderline quirky for 2019, since she weighed in almost 70% of her total 2019 weigh-ins from April to July. She usually loses some weight when she's taking a look on a regular basis, maybe not telling us, but she herself is looking. But this time around, she just orbits 566 pounds. She's checking regularly, but not doing anything with that knowledge. She's not really moving more, and she's not really eating better. Q3 entirely fizzles out before August, and we get 2 check-ins in September. Q4, we get the least amount of check-ins. The first and last happening in early October, and it's not really even a check-in, it's just her claiming she's 6 to 8 pounds down.
And I did weigh in yesterday. I did not film it, and I actually lost, like, I think it was a good 8 pounds, 6 to 8 pounds since I last weighed in for you guys.
Which is it? Is it 6 or 8? For someone being so studious at getting that decimal down, this one can just be vague. Again, it doesn't hurt me at all if she lies, and having eyeballs connected to a frontal cortex helps me form a reasonable opinion if she is or isn't gaining. Comparing to previous years, 2019 is the most similar to 2016, where she's not losing weight, but she's also not really gaining too much weight either. Most of you can relate to having your own weight plateaus at a given time, orbiting between the same 5 or 15 pounds on average. Amberlynn's plateau is more like a Tibetan Himalayan mountain level because it's in the 560s the majority of the time. She only checked in 14 times in 2016 compared to the 61 times in 2019. One year she was very much paying attention and the other year very much not paying attention. A key outlier in 2019 is that she reached her highest weight in Q2, early spring, where in years previous, she almost always hits it in Q4, usually following a large gap in either not caring or not checking, which kind of adds to the sad fact that every highest around the end of the year is just her new lowest the following year. 2019 had the same cycle we have seen before. Get a lot of journals, write down the plans, be very optimistic in starting the plan, mapping the plan out, overall enthusiasm for the plan, then pitching the plan when the plan doesn't go according to plan.
I'm sure it's very rather frustrating to see someone my size just not care.
The reality that for some weight loss to occur, she'd have to accept the fact her reality would involve caloric restrictions every day and physical movement every day. Where 2015 and 2018 parallel was they had increased freedom and money. 2016 and 2019 problems are dealing with that new freedom and income. We see on the chart she'll reach a high, stop tracking, it'll go down because she makes some minor change. She'll congratulate herself with that minor change, throw something processed in the oven, or make a phone call using her Uber Eats Platinum account, skyrocket back up, get scared and surprised, make a little bit of a change while not tracking, she'll lose weight, and then throw something processed in the oven again, and just continues doing this the entire year ad nauseum. She was easily quadrupling whatever she made living with Destiny financially. She had her bills paid, her online spending dopamine receptors were absolutely fried with the online orders, and could eat out whenever she wanted. She did have a live-in personal assistant and valet after all. I'm not hating on Bex, but they were the number one enabler for Amberlynn. Their more passive personality, renal failure, and over-medication just made it harder for them to say no to a very controlling and overbearing partner. Amberlynn was morbidly obese her whole career, but seeing her lose the ability to walk or stand without having breathing problems was incredibly upsetting to watch given she was only 28. At 540 pounds, she talked about how hard it was to walk around. And she has made multiple videos showcasing that being over 500 pounds made daily chores very difficult, it made hygiene very difficult, it made her doing anything very difficult.
And yes, I'm sitting down in a chair. It's all because I'm over 500 pounds. So stop diagnosing me with stuff.
You don't need a medical degree or some fun, futuristic, advanced science fiction tools to know that that's absolutely not good for someone, and they clearly have a lot going on if they're not fixing it. Most of our audience I can gauge probably isn't 500 pounds. They also made this point and concern that being over 500 pounds at 5'3" and not doing anything all day was really bad.
I am very heartbroken and sad currently over something that's going on. There's nothing a therapist can do about that.
And I was also a little annoyed by her comments about people maybe or maybe not needing therapists and therapy not working for everybody. And it's like, sis, 1, you've never tried. 2, it probably would work if you did try. And 3, lots of people need therapy, myself included, okay?
Seriously, I truly cannot believe the comments on my new video, but then again, I shouldn't be surprised. Should I? So the first thing I wanted to say was the reason that people don't take Amberlynn's mental health seriously is because she does not take her mental health seriously, at least not on YouTube.
Amberlynn is very frustrating because she demands a lot of nuance, but yet has none to give to the audience. She makes the wide sweeping assumption that all criticism is nasty, fatphobic, and hateful. It comes from a place of ignorance or without any actual knowledge of the experience.
Like the rude jokes, the snarky remarks, those aren't constructive criticisms. That's literal hate.
So things that I would even agree are just really mean comments and just really hateful and just attacking her for being overweight. Those get lumped in with the far more reasonable request for small changes and maybe walking a bit more.
Take my mind off of it with some dumplings. I guess that's a quote that I said in the video. And that's why you'll never, ever succeed in weight loss. RIP, Amberlynn Reid, 2019. Okay, this is cruel. Like that right there, like I'm not bothered. But morally, that's just something kind of messed up to say.
The two industrial-sized fans. Could you imagine walking by that and seeing just two giant fans pointed at a 600-pound person on a bed and think like, yep, totally normal. This is normal. This is totally normal. Like, I bet she doesn't even feel joy when she eats now. I bet she just does it to feel nothing.
Unlike her audience, she has ample time and financial security to invest in a lot of things that would accelerate weight loss. Her choosing not to was sadly a behavioral avoidance at best. She knows she shouldn't be 560 pounds, she knows she shouldn't be 500 pounds or 400 pounds, but she also knows doing anything to change that would take time and work that wouldn't have an immediate reward response or result. Despite barely being able to walk for 3 minutes, she was getting gold in the mental gymnastics she performed when explaining away very blatant dysfunctional behavior.
I think the evolution of Amberlynn's double chin is the most interesting thing about this channel. Yeah, it's definitely getting a little big, you know, but it could be bigger. It definitely could be bigger, and it's not. So I think we're okay. I think that's just sums it up. Could be bigger, but it's not. So we're good.
567.4 pounds.
Woo, woo!
The audience was also getting very frustrated with her, which is understandable. It's very upsetting seeing an adult online slowly inching towards an early grave. Every fun taste test was like watching someone self-harm. Being criticized and critiqued is never fun, especially on a larger scale online with anonymous people. It's impossible to escape since she couldn't go anywhere but online if Bex wasn't involved.
You talk a lot about rock bottom on your channel, but like, this should be part of the bottom.
Being at the rock bottom is me sitting in my room, sitting in this bed, and not wanting to leave every single day. That's rock bottom. This is me working my way up. So stop assuming things about my life.
Criticism and critiques are part of life. It's a personalized skill you have to develop to clock when people are being critical to valid concerns and shortcomings.
Again, it's perception. If nobody else is seeing the other meals that you're eating, that all the people are seeing are you eating these big meals. And in turn, all they're seeing is you gaining weight.
And when someone is just being a hateful creep. Having nuance and the mental fortitude to hear criticism, self-reflect, and internalize sucks. But it's incredibly important.
I think I would change your confidence level because you have a knack of letting people drag you down.
Amberlynn really would have benefited at this low point by just using plain and simple spite. Spite isn't the most healthy thing to draw motivation from, but it's a fire that has ample kindling when self-motivation is low. To prove someone wrong out of spite or earnest intention still has end results that are positive. If Amberlynn lost 100 pounds for herself, amazing. A gift of self-love and longevity. If Amberlynn lost 100 pounds out of pure, unadulterated spite, she still would have been giving herself the gift of longevity. Both motivations prove to people and haters that she did the thing she said she would do. The fans would have something tangible to go back on and encourage her with, and the haters would have to drop the whole "you didn't lose weight" thing. They could focus on a litany of other things, but not the weight loss. Maybe you can relate using this wonderful motivation source as needed. I find it best used in my experience when you're exhausted and want to give up, but you hate the idea of someone else knowing you failed more than actually failing. Is that a bit dysfunctional? Sure. Spite even can transform into true motivation because you have that success under your belt and you feel stronger and you can keep going. Pretty sure that's not helpful to use all the time or whatever. I'm not a therapist, but I am a very spiteful person. But she didn't lose 100 pounds. She didn't lose 50 pounds. She didn't do anything really.
566.4 pounds.
I've gained 4 pounds.
She lumped everyone that gave anything short of immediate praise into the hater bin, and rather than just taking those well-meaning points to be improved upon, this exasperated fans tired of watching a woman not care about herself. I do believe she has lipedema and lymphedema. I'm sure that is a very difficult thing to live with, and does require a lot of work to manage. But when she complains about being swollen all day,
Still really swollen. I woke up swollen again. I noticed today I'm a little swollen. I do feel a little bit swollen. I'm very swollen. So I get swollen. I knew I was swollen, but I didn't know I was that swollen. Still super swollen. Very, very swollen.
and then says she doesn't drink water
Ready to rumble. Doesn't mean I always remember to drink it. I just
and likes eating high processed meals with high amounts of sodium.
Ooh, it says the calories. Okay. Wow. 320 calories. 1,000 sodium.
Why should we care? It takes work to manage any chronic illness, but it's much easier when there's an actual, tangible treatment plan available for your hyper-specific chronic illness. Especially if it's something that can make your life easier. There's diet plans and physical therapies all shown to alleviate symptoms. But you don't see a specialist. You don't really see any doctor consistently. And you have just a blatant addiction to the saltiest things a human can make in a lab. So you don't care, so why should we care? It's very aggravating because whenever she gains weight, it's because of fluid.
I noticed today I'm a little swollen, so I am a little nervous about that. But 565.2.
But whenever you lose weight, that's pure unadulterated fat.
562.8. Oh my god. I knew I did really good yesterday. I didn't know I did that good. That's a round of applause for me.
Seems like they're moving the goalpost a little bit there. Exercise won't cure your depression, but you can give yourself the boon of moving your body and intentionally producing endorphins by moving around on a daily basis. That can just be taking a dog for a walk. You don't need to do a half marathon or anything. Eating a banana and avoiding orange chicken won't be the thing that cures anxiety. But avoiding highly processed foods and addictive fast foods will let your body create a gut biome where it can absorb vital nutrients to help create a stronger immune system, amidst a bunch of other very useful stuff.
A recent study from Massachusetts General Hospital and Harvard Medical School finds a link between ultra-processed foods and depression. It found a nearly 50% increase in the risk of depression for those who consumed 9 portions or more of ultra-processed foods a day.
I just got done crying, so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
The more processed food and junk you put in your gut biome, you're adding to the fuel of the vicious cycle that makes you crave processed food, that makes you feel awful, makes you gain weight, but also makes you crave processed food, then you feel bad, and it just keeps repeating.
The whole everything. I just feel unbelievably let down by myself. Today, well, right now, I'm having a Velveeta shells and cheese, which the sodium on this is 600. 600. Ugh.
Your body isn't being used in a gulag forced labor camp. You have complete control of what you want to do all day and what you want to eat.
I can't wait until I can start eating like regular foods.
What the fuck?
Hey everyone, quick little warning, we will be talking about substance abuse, eating disorders, and self-harm, so if any of that is upsetting, please skip ahead to the below time code.
I binge eat. I am a food addict. I am an emotional eater. It's that simple. I know what foods are healthy and I know what's not. And I know how much to eat and I know how little to eat.
BED and food addiction are forms of disordered eating people can relate to Amberlyn's struggles with. I have a lot of sympathy for addicts. Genetics, trauma, early usage to emotionally self-soothe. There's never just one reason someone turns to substance abuse. Amberlyn has always stated food was her coping method growing up.
And I do have binge eating disorder. I have a food addiction.
And, well, now, really.
Like, emotional eating is, like, sometimes the only thing that helps me feel better.
Unlike alcohol and harder substances, you literally need food every single day.
Recovery from eating disorders is a lot different than recovery for alcoholics or drug addicts. So I'm tired of people comparing the two because people are always like, would you give an alcoholic an ounce of vodka every day? That doesn't even make sense. I need food to survive, which is unfortunate.
But a caveat that Amberlyn and everyone on TLC has with food addiction is it's not to things like whole grain toast and mangoes. It's usually high sugar, high fat processed foods that are made in a lab and are very addicting, which is baffling watching Amberlyn buy these healthier, fast options that are meant for people that are unable to cook at home with real ingredients. Why eat a granola bar when you can just make breakfast? Look, I know George Bush left like a lot of us behind, but you really don't need to think too hard that if you go to the grocery store, buy healthier food, and just don't get takeout, you're gonna eat healthier food. Eating one meal that is less processed doesn't negate the processed foods anymore when you're over 500 pounds. It's not one-to-one anymore. Your gut biome is so addicted to the processed crap, it takes weeks to adapt to a new diet. And that's going to be a very painful transition. But unless you do that, you're going to be stuck getting the chemicals. Her stint with the weight loss doctor was maddening.
He doesn't want me to lose weight super quick. He said about 8 pounds a month. And that got me shocked because I'll probably lose 8 pounds in a week, especially in the beginning. He didn't mention anything of fruits and vegetables. Not a single thing. And for some reason that shocked me because I feel like a good nutritional diet is to have fruits and vegetables.
Because yeah, Amberlynn, you're 28. You should know you should eat a fucking vegetable or fruit. The doctor isn't going to do a song and dance with a sock puppet doing a little jingle on why you should eat fruits and vegetables. You should know that already. You rejected the meal plans of doctors because they'd had too much sodium. A thing you suddenly care about when your previous and current diet has loads of sodium in it. There is no universe in which the doctor told you to eat 10 Jack Links and cup soup every day.
Weight loss doctors, nutritionists, and dietitians and doctors, they all have different advice, I noticed.
The weight loss doctor and nutritionist weren't too confusing, and you didn't know what to do. You're a quarter ton, and we can round that up to 600 pounds. Your life at this point was struggling to breathe while sitting in bed while eating. Any plan besides yours would be a benefit.
If I could lose weight and not have to eat those, cool. Because I should believe everything a weight loss doctor says, right?
Dear God, I hate you!
2019 is interesting because we do see Amber eat out far less. We see her eat takeout far less. I mean, she still was doing it, but we didn't see it. We did see her moving around a lot, exercising, watching her cook, and even her mukbangs weren't just sugary cereal through a trough anymore. But then the weigh-ins would come and it would be very jarring.
572.4 pounds.
How can you be eating better and exercising more than we've ever seen you do, but still be in the 560s and 570s? Because she wanted the audience to believe she was always cooking her food and keeping up with an exercise routine. No matter what the comments said or what our own eyeballs could see, she was doing just fine in her head. But the scale always brought her down to reality. Not the people online, not the daily struggles of being unable to bathe or move, just the cold, hard numbers.
566.2, which 570.8, 571.8, 572.4, and this is...
A very frustrating factor is that she is in the delusion that she is just fat. She is a quarter ton. She has been a quarter ton for almost a decade at this point. She isn't fat. She's part of an incredibly small percentage of people who are only featured on TLC. She truly thinks she's part of this category more so than this one. Both deserve kindness and respect. Being larger doesn't mean anyone should receive an onslaught of verbal abuse. Amberlynn continually chooses to live in a way that is just harmful to her health.
Well, I didn't even weigh myself. I didn't feel comfortable weighing myself after eating. So I actually did not weigh in today. I utterly and completely forgot.
Gets upset when that's pointed out.
Amberlynn, you have kidney problems. I literally went to the ER and it was an effing bladder infection. My kidneys were fine. And I'm just over here like...
Blames things outside of her control despite all those being in her direct control.
I can't change overnight. I can't change in a week. I can't change probably in a year. I won't be able to change in a year. And what's stopping me is probably just like, I fear change. And that's something that I recently found out about myself, is just I'm afraid of change.
But here we are all getting yelled at for being ableist, assuming the 560-pound woman has a harder time showering and moving.
So many people have revolved my channel around the fact that people think that I'm a liar. But let's just, if I needed help to wipe my butt, that's not exciting, that's not sexy. I would no longer feel like a girlfriend, and I would more so feel like someone that she needs to take care of.
Despite herself telling us she has a hard time showering and moving.
It hurts to get in the shower. I have gotten stuck before.
She isn't doing anything to enrich herself or educate her audience. It's just sitting in bed all day, rotting. Self-care doesn't just mean getting a mani-pedi with a mud mask and eating candy. It simply means caring for yourself. Getting vitamin D and moving your body is self-care. Brushing your teeth and taking care of your hygiene is self-care. Planning and cooking meals that will supply you with a healthy gut biome long-term is self-care. It's all about caring for yourself. No one likes going to the gym, but it's important to move your muscles. No one likes flossing, but it's important to keep your teeth clean. No one likes sitting with the idea that someone may be right about a negative personality trait you exhibit consistently, but it's important to reflect. Reality sucks. It really does. It's not comfortable, it's often painful, and unbearably slow if progress is trying to be made.
Like, life is short, but also like terribly and insufferably long at the same time.
But when you dig your heels in, or even just walk around for 10 minutes a day, progress can occur. And it also means any progress being made and shown is real. Unfortunately, in the next year, reality does hit Amberlynn like a bus.
I knew there's been a problem for so long. And I know it's my fault. It's almost embarrassing how much I've read. The brain is a muscle and we do gotta exercise the brain, but it's like, I think I've exercised it a little more than I should have.
I think she's done. Are you, like, medically speaking, are you like I'm not trying to be mean, like, are you dumb? I think she's dumb. I think she's dumb.